Hey, this is Sam Wilson. You're at my studio with Gabe Rabin, Doghouse Studios. I'd like to really thank Runway Audio for putting this video on. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I couldn't be more excited about my board. It's kind of cool how it came to be. I was Chris from Runway. He reached out to me when I was on tour at the time, and I had just built my own board, which I was really proud of at the time, but after a year of solid touring, it was doomed for some failures and was sort of falling apart on me. And I reached out to Chris, and we basically sort of got the initial design about what we wanted, and I used some pedals that I'd had in the past, and I did some investigation on some new stuff, and I'm really happy with what we came up with. Basically, I really wanted something that was good for a lot of situations and that was really easy to use, meaning I could go from like a country recording session and then go play pedal steel indie cave rock the next and be able to dial up something really quickly and something that's easy to use. And I know you might think that's easy, but for me, it's a fairly intuitive setup, and Chris was awesome helping me set it up. Basically, the way it's run is you have your modulation-based effects, which the Strymon Big Sky, the Strymon Mobius, the Eventide H9, and the Empress Echo system. That's all our modulation-based effects, and they're all running stereo into the RJM PBC6X, which is a really great piece of gear. So it's run into the looper, meaning I can send MIDI messages between those, so I can have, with the one click of a button, I can have a whole different saved setup. And it's super intuitive. There's a editor that you can have on your laptop that makes making set lists and different presets just really easy to access. So anyway, so you have that option with all the modulation-based effects, and then you've got our drives and boosts sort of in this section right here. And those are actually running in series. They're not running into the looper, because I just like the way that gain pedals interact with each other. And instead of just having so much of what I see is like somebody has a very low gain setting and then they have a super high gain setting. And that was actually something that I used to do. And that can be cool, but it really limits your tonal possibilities, because someone might want an artist might want, like Gabe and I will be working and an artist will want something super clean. So I have to be able to like dial in a clean setting that's not, that's not sort of boring. And so basically, I'll start with nothing, just our clean. And then the Greer light speed is our first level. And this pedal is amazing. I think it's going to be on boards everywhere, because it's so clean sounding. It just gives you a little bit of color, a little added brightness, and just a little bit of really nice natural tube, kind of Fender-esque breakup. And then everybody in Nashville knows this pedal, the Noble Sardi ODR1. Our second level of gain, which is nice because it could sound really, based on your fingers, it can sound really really big and rocking. We're just and also really natural. So that's my second stage, and then I'll also use that by itself, and I'll use it interacting with that. I'll use just the Greer, and I'll add the compressor on the pretty much the lowest setting possible, and it just gives you so much variety. And then the last but not least is the Andy Timmons, the AT Plus, made by JHS pedals. So again, we got the light speed Greer amps, Nobles, ODR1 JHS AT Plus, and that's just basically our souped up Marshall sound. So, great sound. Don't get to use that often, but we'll definitely stomp on that every time someone wants a big F-14s taking off into the sunset type guitar solos, fireworks, that's when we'll step on that. And then I've got this Nano, which is great, I think it's 25 dB of clean boost. So like if I'm playing my Strat, my pink Strat, and I need some extra gain, then I'll hit that guy. And then I've got the Boss volume pedal, and then an expression pedal, which is currently set up to the H9 right now. The Polytune, and then briefly, what I wanted to have, what's so nice about the H9 and like in a studio situation, you can actually hook your H9 up through Bluetooth. You can do all the editing right in. So say like we were on a session and Gabe's like, hey, could you dial up like sort of a vibey, ambient, vintagey sound? So I can like be like, okay, sure, let's go to tape echoes, and then let's try warped record. And then if he wants even more delay, I'll hit the echo system so I can get kind of double delays happening. And then that sort of frees me up for if the delay is taken up by the Eventide H9, then I have the echo system for delays, and then the Movius for modulations, which I use a lot for chorus, tremolo. There's lots of great sounds. There's a great vibe setting. There's great phaser, flanger, all sorts of good stuff. And then the Big Sky for verb. Let's see what we have. And then I can go in and be like, okay, that's still not enough effect. Then I can go in and sort of just right on the spot be like, okay, I'm just going to give myself some more feedback, just make it a big swirling mess of delay. That's just one example right there, but there's just so much option with everything I've got. It's just one of those things when it makes it fun. Usually learning pedals can be really frustrating, or you end up just getting burnt out. We all know those pedals that just it's so hard to make them sound good. I just wanted to have it be, you could just plug right in and it's already going to sound good. Any of the advanced sort of technology that's happening is just to facilitate creativity. Because that's kind of what we like to do, is just, not overplan everything out. Just be like, well, what are we feeling? Let's try this sound. And then I can just sort of quickly dial it in. If it's not right, then, that's okay. We move on. But there's really, there's no sound that I really don't feel like I have right now, at least for what I'm doing. It may not be for everyone, but I really do. These pedals, some have been tested for years on the road. You all know the Strymon stuff. That stuff is amazing. And then the Eventide is insanely powerful, incredibly. It's probably one of the best sounding. It's almost like Gabe and I talk about. It's like HD, just very high def. And then the Empress, I'm still digging into that pedal. Blair from Eastside recommended that to me, and I do love it. I'm still learning all its capabilities, but the Boss stuff is great. And then any pedal I didn't talk about, I think the SP compressor made by Exotic Effects. It's just a great transparent compressor, especially just to tame your drives, because like I said, I just like a lot of interaction with gain stages, from clean to super transparent to medium to high, and then you have abilities to maneuver inside and out by using your left hand and also your right hand for volume. It's just, I'm actually super excited to take it out on the road. I'll be touring with Mary Chapin Carpenter next year, and I was sad that I didn't get to try it out this year, but it's going to be just as great live. It's just sort of it's like a Swiss Army knife of sounds for me. And one thing we haven't really talked about is pedal steel. We also do a lot of pedal steel overdubs, and so I'll dial in like really great sounds for steel really quickly. So, and again, whether it's like, okay, we want Ralph Mooney, 50s, 60s country steel. It's like, okay. Or it's we want Lanois spaced out weird. It's like, okay. And then within minutes, we can just have a cool sound. And Gabe's like, let's roll with it. I mean, it really happens that quickly. I've just never actually had a board that I really felt comfortable with, especially if you're a more experienced musician and you're touring a lot and you're doing fly dates. Like, TSA will rip your stuff up sometimes, or you'll fly into Germany and your pedal board will be in a heap. It's happened. And it's really frustrating. Whereas this thing, it's built like a tank. And it's, I just think for any younger musician or more experienced musician, I definitely would hit up Runway if you have any questions about a board, whether it's like an acoustic 3-pedal board or whether it's even bigger than this and it's got, there are cats doing the Ableton thing and everything's to tracks. Like, I'm sort of in the middle, but from a tiny one to the biggest thing you can dream of, I would highly recommend them, because I've had this now for a couple months and I use it every single day. And even if you just want to sit down, like I said, you just sit down and start playing, and it's just instantly inspiring just for practicing. Just even with nothing on, just a little reverb and just. Yeah. So again, I think I've covered everything, but again, that's runwayaudio.com. Chris Dunkley, he killed it for me. So yeah, can't recommend it any more highly.